All right, we want to welcome you into episode 35 of Trojan Talk. I'm Zach Tarenko here with Isaac Edwards coming back in and Cole Perez. How you guys doing this morning?
Awesome.
Great.
Yeah, we not a lot to talk about this week as the playoffs start to wrap up for TA, but we still have some topics, so we'll get to them. We'll start with the football team who has a matchup with Sanford this week. It's the last regular season game of the year for the football team. It's also our last TA-TV broadcast of the year. Cole, I'll ask you first. You know, TA's had a kind of an up and down season. Started 1-2. It wasn't looking very good, and they've kind of worked their way back up to 6-2 now, looking to finish it off with another win. You know, looking at this team going into the playoffs, they're going to have a bye. They're going to have probably an easy matchup in the semifinals. I mean, it's pretty easy to already look at the state championship and say, well, it might be versus Oxford Hills. You know, what about this team do you think, looks good going into the playoffs?
Well, it's impressive because if you split the season in half, the first half of the season, first 4 games, they averaged 20 points per game on offense, which isn't bad. But over the last 4 games, kind of the second half of their season, they've averaged 46, and they haven't given up more than 7 points in their last 4 games either. So they've really dominated that stretch. And you can say, well, they played better teams, and that's true. But I do think that they've really found their groove, found their identity. As an offense, they only had 2 offensive starters returning this year, so a lot of guys needed to get some experience, which definitely happened. And these guys are battle-tested and ready for the state championship. And they've improved a lot, and a lot of people would give Oxford Hills the edge in that state championship matchup if it does come to be that. But TA could get a sneaky win and repeat. You never know.
Yeah, I think this team finally found their identity, which is the run game and also special teams. I think that our special teams is like with our punt returns and kickoffs. I think will be a big factor in this playoffs and maybe get some touchdowns for that. So.
Yeah, I think it should be a good playoffs, and tonight should be a good game as well. I mean, Sanford's been kind of in the middle of the pack this year, but Cole, looking at tonight, I know you and I are going to be at that game. What do you think? TA is going to have a pretty easy win. Do you think they're going to? I know it's senior night, so I'm assuming all the seniors will start. What do you think that's going to happen in that game?
Well, I think it's going to be a battle of the trenches, of course. Jordan Bissonette is a stud running back for Sanford, big guy, almost 300 pounds, just a really good fullback for them, and they're going to give him a ton of volume tonight. And TA is going to have to respond with a running game of their own. Hayden Whitney's been getting back into the big play category. He broke off a 62-yarder last week against Bonnie Eagle, so the run games are going to be featured a lot tonight. And, yeah, I think TA should win pretty easily, just showing what they've showed the second half of the season. And it might be close in the first half, but I expect kind of them to do the same thing they did to Bonnie Eagle last week, which is come out and pack a punch in the second half.
Yeah, I think another easy win. And then my question is, are you guys going to be dressed up in the booth for tonight? It's costume night. I think. I'm
not sure. I mean, I don't think I've done Halloween the last 2 or 3 years. So I'm probably going to just dress like I usually would.
Okay.
It's probably going to be kind of cold tonight, but
right.
Cole, are you going to dress up?
I'll dress up as an announcer.
Okay.
Career day.
There you go.
Yep, career day.
We'll
all right.
both be doing career day. We have a couple more sports to talk about. We'll start with boys soccer. They had a quarterfinal matchup versus Wyndham. They lost in double OT. They were, they were down 1-0. Scored a PK goal late in the second half. Then first overtime was scoreless. Second overtime, they let up a not so great goal. Kind of a tough way to end their season. But overall, it wasn't too bad. We saw a lot of their wins and some of their losses as well on TATV. Looking at the girls team, they had a second round matchup versus Wyndham after beating Noble 3-0 in the first round. They lost 6-2. They scored early but couldn't hold on to their lead. And then we were going to have a field hockey result, but that game got moved to tonight, I believe. So field hockey also plays tonight. That one will be at Noble. So we'll keep you updated on the result of that game. But as we already said before, volleyball was out a couple weeks ago in the first round loss. So right now it's really only field hockey and football left. We'll see who can kind of last the longest. I mean, I think the field hockey state championship is before the football one, so it would be football probably the last one standing, but still pretty good playoffs for the fall sports. And it's tough to see the boys and girls soccer teams go down, but still a good fall sports playoff season. But now we'll switch it over and talk about some football. The one topic that I think we've talked about the last 3 or 4 weeks in total. I don't think it keeps coming up because it's continuously a problem. And after that loss to the Bears, it's still a problem. It's who is the starting quarterback? Is it Bailey Zappi or is it Mac Jones? From the report I saw yesterday, it looks like Mac Jones took most of the starter snaps, so he'll play versus the Jets. But, we'll talk about it again. Just get your overall thoughts, Cole, on the situation and what happened in that Bears game. What was the downfall?
Well, this was legit the most confident I've been in a Patriots game in the last 2 years or so. I mean, this is week 7. Bill talks about in the preseason. This is where you find your identity and go on a run. September, you can lose a couple games, but this is where they've really thrived in the past. And this just seemed like a perfect chance in prime time against a bad team to go on the right side of 500. And just a terrible loss, probably our worst loss since maybe Tom Brady left. It was that bad. You have to feel awful for Mac, hearing your backup's name get chanted after you struggle, and then he comes in and just lights it up for a couple possessions. And Mac is a great leader, and I loved what he said post-game. I thought that was one of the best answers I've ever heard from him about being a leader and how he had to wait his turn at Alabama and all throughout his life. I thought that was a great answer. But he's a good quarterback who can do some good things. He's coming off of a high ankle sprain, which was first reported to be like a 5 to 8 week absence, and he only missed 3 games. So you have to account for that. We can't switch up now. Patriots fans can't switch up now for a guy that's only beat the Lions and the Browns. And Zappe's a good quarterback, but I wasn't pleased with the fans at all. And then the real story of this game was the defense. The defense was awful. Whenever we're facing a running quarterback, we cannot seal the edge fast enough, and it's just over. We got killed by Lamar Jackson. Justin Fields didn't even have a great game. He struggled in the fog a little bit, but he was just able to get to the edge and get these first downs. Kyle Duggar went out early in the game, and I'm thinking that maybe they were supposed to play him as like a spy on Justin Fields, and when he went out, maybe the athleticism just wasn't there to contain Fields. So that certainly could have been it, but the defense was awful. And the third down defense, especially on like 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, the Bears would have a guy wide open in the middle of the field all night. It was just extremely frustrating to watch on 3rd down. The defense was terrible, just the worst case scenario in a primetime game. And it could happen again against a good Jets team. I can't believe I'm saying that, but we got to go take care of business because that was a really, really frustrating loss. And the emotions are still lingering a little bit from Monday. So
I really thought we didn't have Zappe Hour when I saw him with those first 2 drives he had, a bomb the Jacoby Myers and then a spectacular catch by Devontae Adams that I don't know how he made that, but he did. But then Jacoby Myers has that fumble, and I think that's really a big part that kind of shut down our offense, and we kind of crumbled after the second half. So, and also defense, big part. We never can stop a running quarterback. When there's a quarterback that has good legs and can run, it's that we cannot stop him. So, we'll see. Hopefully we can win against the Jets. I don't know. They're looking really good. Maybe without Breece Hall because he's down with the ACL. We'll see. But I really don't know. This team is just every week you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's discouraging to think that we're going to have to play Josh Allen twice this year.
Yeah.
What are we going to do against that?
Yeah, as you say, I mean it's tough. The Jets are a good team. They did lose Breece Hall, but they did sign James Robinson, and they still have Michael Carter, who, I always thought was a good running back.
Yeah.
I know Breece Hall kind of outplayed him, but they still have a good team. But, Cole, you kind of posed a good question. Or we're talking a lot about Zappe versus Jones and the fans. Do you think that the fans are – the reason why they're thinking they're more on Zappe right now and kind of jumping on that train is because Zappe's playing well or because Mac Jones is playing bad?
Well, you see, here's what I think. Bill said that the plan was coming into the game that both guys were going to play, and they were just easing Mac into things. And maybe they took him out because of the health, or maybe they took him out because he was playing bad. It's probably a mixture of both. But you have to be 100% in this league. It's the NFL regular season. You get 17 games to prove it. It's not that long. You can't ease a guy into things. You're either all in or you're all out. Ease him in on the practice field. Ease him in, in walkthroughs. So I don't like how they were just trying to get Mac comfortable again. It's prime time. Like, you got to go. You're either 100% or you're not. And again, with the fans, you can't destroy Mac Jones' confidence. I thought it was just worst case scenario that you destroy Mac's confidence and then Zappe comes in and plays bad. So now you went from maybe we have 2 good QBs and now you're really rethinking things and maybe we don't have any. And I just hope Mac comes in and plays solid against the Jets on the road, so we won't have to deal with the home crowd, which is awful to say because the home crowd is normally on your side. But yeah, I don't really understand why Bill would want to try the platoon quarterback thing in Monday Night Football in a big game. So I think they probably should have just rolled with Zappe if Mac wasn't 100% healthy to begin with.
Yeah, but Bill doesn't like picks, and Mac's thrown a lot of picks. He's thrown, what, 6, 5? Five picks?
Something around that.
Yeah, so he doesn't like that, and I really think Jones would have played longer if he didn't throw that pick that he had in Monday night. So we'll see. He hates turnovers. I think it's just Bill is just kind of struggling this year with decision making or something. So we'll see.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's tough when you have one quarterback who's kind of on a hot streak and one quarterback who, I mean, you feel like you should depend on more, but really isn't playing well. And as Cole said, he's coming back from a high ankle sprain. He probably shouldn't have been back this early. I think Zebby should have played the entire game, not because I think he's better, but because I think Max should be sitting out. I think if you're going to not have surgery and nurse an injury like that, you should be waiting most of the weeks because you want to come back at full health so you can play at your best. And I think that switching up the quarterbacks almost hurt them more than I think Belichick wanted it. Thought it might have. And I think if Zabby would have played the whole game, it probably could have given him a little more confidence. And then, maybe would have been able to win that game. It's a tough loss. I don't think the season's over yet. I'm not going to call it that early, but they've got some tough games, and the Jets are a good team, and they got the Bills again, and so they haven't even played the Bills yet, have they?
No.
So they have 2 matchups versus the Bills coming up too, which will be tough. But if the defense is playing well, this is a good team. This is a team that shut out the Lions and did a really good job against the Browns, who are kind of playing well. So it's just more about that. To me, it's more about the defense than it is the offense, because
for sure.
I think the defense is the one that produces the success for this team. But we'll move it over and talk about a former Patriot and a Packer who may be falling in the ranks here. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady both the teams are either 3-3 or
3-4.
3-4. That's right. This is a terrible week. They both lost this week. The Packers versus Commanders game is a little bit closer than the Panthers Buccaneers game. Before coming into this week, Brady had that yelling match with his offensive line. I was like, he's not very happy. And then after their 21-3 loss to the Panthers, I'm starting to get really discouraged with how he's playing. I just want to get your guys' thoughts on Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady and where they are right now.
Well, it's kind of sad to see. And Tom Brady came back, and I think that was probably a poor decision because everything is really falling apart, and it's officially a disaster in Tampa Bay. But it's going to make for a really good storyline for this as we approach the second half of the season. Which one of these guys can turn this around? They've both had several low points of their career. Tom Brady both, not really with the Bucs, but with the Patriots. There have been times where early in the season, Patriots teams struggle, and then you get Max Kellerman talking about he's falling off of a cliff, and you have all the media saying this is it, this is the downfall of Tom Brady. It's happened several times, and he's been able to turn it around more times than not. And same thing with Aaron Rodgers. Remember that run the table comment a while ago, where they struggled and then they won pretty much every game and almost made it back to the Super Bowl. I think one of these teams, and I don't know which one it's going to be, I think one of these teams is going to turn it around and make the NFC Championship and probably the Super Bowl. I think that one of these quarterbacks is just going to figure it out with their offense, and the defense is going to keep playing well, and one of these teams is going to make a run, and then the other one, we'll see. I don't know.
I think that the upside for Brady right now is his division. He's in a really bad division with the Saints and the Saints, Carolina, and the other one, Falcons. Yeah. So the only really competition he has in that is the Falcons, because I don't think the Saints or Carolina are going to do much. But with Rodgers, I think it shows that he doesn't have wide receivers, or the running game is the only thing he kind of really has right there. So I think Brady, if you think that Brady or one of these guys is going to pull through, I think it would be Brady over Rodgers this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think Cole and I have talked about this before, is that they need to rely more on Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon than they are. And, I hate to say this because hate to say this about Rodgers, but, sometimes you just are in a situation you kind of just have to work through it. There's a reason why Davante Adams left, because he wasn't successful with Green Bay, and they didn't really have a lot going for them. Their defense has never been out of this world. I mean, when they played the Buccaneers last year in the NFC Championship game, their defense cost them that game. They couldn't stop anything. So I'm not surprised that Rodgers has no options right now, but he does. I mean, Alan Lazard is a good wide receiver.
Yeah.
Romeo Doubs is a good young wide receiver. I mean, excuse me, even Randall Cobb's it's not amazing, but Cobb is not a bad receiver. Like, it's not out of this world. And Robert Tonyan, he barely uses Robert Tonyan.
No,
right
he
now.
doesn't use his tight end.
So I don't know. It's one of those, like, it's almost like self-inflicting. He's just not like, they could have beaten the Commanders. Like, they were
for sure.
They had a lead over them most of the game, and then at the end they just let the Commanders come back, and so it's tough. But I don't know if one of them will make the NFC Championship game, but I think one of them will turn it around.
Yeah, and there have been several reports that the Packers are looking at some receivers. I think the biggest name has been Chase Claypool, and Claypool hasn't been used in Pittsburgh, and so it's like the saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh did not use him to the best of his ability, but I think Chase Claypool will be a monster in Green Bay, so hopefully that they can get that done.
Yeah, that would be cool to see. I also saw some reports that Jerry Jeudy might be on the trading block, but it's tough because there's still a couple of weeks left. I think it's like November 10th or something is when the trade deadline is. So people don't really feel like they have to make the moves right now. A couple more NFL topics, just quickly going through them. Matt Ryan benched for Sam. Is it
Ellinger?
Ellinger.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure I pronounced that right. So, not surprised. He's been playing terrible. I'm kind of glad that we got rid of him because I am kind of a Falcons fan. So, glad that we got rid of him and Julio Jones, because I just saw like something that like when the Falcons originally gave up those two guys, everyone was like, "Oh, we're done." You know, the franchise is in the mud. And then, I mean, now look at Matt Ryan.
You guys are doing pretty well.
Matt Ryan and Julio Jones are like nobodies now. Anyways, but what do you guys think about Ellinger starting?
It's just sad that the Colts are one of the more sad franchises over the last couple of years, because they were really rolling at the end of the regular season last year, and then they lose to Las Vegas in Week 17, and then in Week 18 they have to make the playoffs in Jacksonville, and they get crushed by the Jaguars. And for whatever reason, it just doesn't work out. They get the 1-year rental of Phillip Rivers, and they didn't win a playoff game. And then I'm starting to think that this looks a little bit better for Carson Wentz, because Carson Wentz didn't have the worst numbers in Indy, and now he's showing that it might not have been him, because Matt Ryan is playing probably worse than Carson Wentz. And they have weapons. They have arguably the best running back in the game. Pittman is a stud. They drafted some young tight ends, and they drafted Alec Pierce as well. And so there's no excuse for Matt Ryan with Quentin Nelson, one of the best in the league, on the line. And he has looked washed this season. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah, I don't know how Matt Ryan can't thrive with the talent he's got. And I think it's just because the Colts love mediocre quarterbacks. I think you've seen since Andrew Luck, it's been just no studs, no star quarterbacks that they got. So we'll see. I mean, yeah, I really don't think Sam Ellinger should start. I thought we should give at least Matt Ryan maybe 1 or 2 more weeks, see how he does, because he did have one game where he threw like 100 yards or 300 yards. Sorry, so we'll see.
Sam Ellinger, I just want to say real quick, is a career backup. It's not like this guy's a rookie with upside. So
no.
Yeah, I think you're right, Isaac. I think Matt Ryan, it wasn't so bad that it was like a total collapse, like to the point where we're like, okay, you're benched now and we're done. But it is what it is, and we'll see how that goes for them. If you have Michael Pittman this week, I would probably bench him, because I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get many catches. One more NFL topic. I don't know if you guys saw this last night. Robert Quinn, one of the best edge rushers, I would say, in the league. Just got traded to the Eagles for some draft compensation. I think it was like a 4th or 5th round pick. Not even that much.
What a steal. That's a steal.
But in a press conference after he was traded, Roquan Smith, who has reportedly also wanted to trade out of Chicago, was visibly upset. What does this mean for the Bears? I mean, they just lost one of their best defenders. Their defense has really been what's kept them in a couple of these games and gotten them a couple of wins. I mean, what do you think will happen to Roquan Smith?
Well, I mean, I'm sure those guys were tight. You saw the emotions on Roquan Smith's face, and I always think it's interesting to see how guys react to a trade in real time. But it shows for the Eagles that they're all in, and Howie Roseman, their GM, has had a great year. He got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson from the Saints, and now Robert Quinn, and their defense is absolutely balling right now. But for the Bears, I don't even know if you want to trade Roquan Smith at this point. You know, you're 3-4, and you've been winning some games, and I don't know. Roquan Smith is a really good player, and you either you either keep him or you get some really good compensation for him because you can't let him walk for like a third-round pick.
Yep.
Yeah, the Eagles are in it to win it this season. They're going for broke. So I think hopefully it pays off. I would love to see maybe the Eagles make the playoff. I like that team, Jalen Hurts. I like him as a quarterback. With the Bears, I don't know. I mean, I think they're just trying to – I don't really know what they're doing. They're got a really bad team. So even though they beat the Pats, I don't think maybe they'll probably trade him, Roquan. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's tough to give up a guy like that for just like a 4th or 5th round pick. I think they would have liked more than that. But, when the Eagles want a guy like that and you're willing to give up maybe that was his value. I mean, it's tough. Like sometimes like Khalil Mack went for like a 3rd round pick or something like that. And to some people that means a lot, and to others it doesn't mean anything. So to me, I think I saw Robert Quinn as more like a 2nd round pick, maybe even a player trade, but it is what it is. We'll finish up with some Bruins and Celtics talk. Bruins real quick, 6-1, playing really well. Ullmark is 5-0. The Bruins are back on a 3-game win streak. They play Detroit tonight, and then they're at home versus Columbus on Friday. Just real quick, I mean, what do you think of this team? I know, Cole, we talked about it a little last week with Josh Pulsifer, but is this starting to become less of a just like a crazy first couple games into a good solid season?
No, I think so. I think Ullmark, you ride with him and play him the majority of games and ride the hot hand. I think that's important. And if Pastrnak can keep playing well, and these guys, they've got a kind of an older team and a team that's probably ready to go on a run. So I'm sure you have more thoughts than me, but yeah, it's encouraging to see from the Bruins these first couple weeks.
Yeah, go Bruins. Keep winning. Woo. Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, it's that simple. I think, Ullmark's been playing really well, one of the best keepers right now, and we have the best win percentage in the league. So it's tough to say because we're 7 games into the season, and that can change like this. But, who knows what's going to happen. We'll finish up with some Celtics. They started strong, and then I don't even know what happened in that Bulls game. I don't know if you guys watched that game, but I got a couple questions. The first one is Malcolm Brogdon has been playing pretty good for the Celtics. I want to know, do you guys think Brogdon would be better as a starter over somebody like maybe Derek White, or maybe even starting over like Marcus Smart or something like that, or better as a 6th man?
Well, he started pretty much his whole career in Milwaukee and Indiana. I don't really think it matters. I still think he's extremely valuable either way. And talking about the Celtics in general, they've had to play small ball because Robert Williams is going to be out for an extended period of time. And so they got Noah Vonleh, who he'd been out of the league for like a couple of years. I can't believe he's still actually getting minutes on an NBA team. But they've been starting Grant Williams at center sometimes. So we'll see how that goes. And Grant Williams got that suspension as well.
Yeah,
so
we'll talk about that.
I think that they still have a great team as long as they hang around over 500 until Rob Williams gets back. They'll be fine.
Yeah, I really think I would rather have him as a 6th man. I think Derek White proven himself last year, and I don't think he should start over Marcus Smart, who is really good on defense. You need him on defense for this team. So
So wow, Cole just said it. Did you guys? You both saw this.
Yeah.
The reason he got suspended. So he got a foul that I don't think he deserved, even the foul I don't think he deserved, that he gets up and he runs over to the bench. Not sure why he ran over the bench, but he bumps the shoulder of one of the referees, gets a tech, and then gets ejected and gets a suspension for his, I was called like aggressive antics with the referee or whatever. That's the NBA to me. I'm not really surprised.
Well, okay. I think probably a tech and a fine would have been appropriate,
Yes,
but they are very clear that you can't touch the ref, and he did run into he was running at like full speed, and even though he clipped the ref, he still touched the ref. So but again, it's probably not worthy of a suspension. I just think that whole thing is stupid. Every time Grant Williams or Marcus Smart or even Draymond, I'll admit, it gets into one of these, it's just stupid.
Yeah, it's one game. I think we'll be fine.
It's not that big of a deal. I just thought it was like,
it is weird though. Like
it's the rules. He deserves a tech, but the suspension and the way that, like, I read the article and the way that they described how he hit her, or like how he moved by the referee. I'm like, no, he bumped her shoulder. He didn't like, he wasn't aggressive. I mean,
he didn't truck her.
Yeah, he didn't like, like he wasn't like running on purpose to hit her on, like, to go by. Like, it just, I don't know. It was weird, but he'll be out for one game, and it seems like Vonleh will probably get more
Yeah.
minutes. We'll finish up this episode real quick. Start off with tonight's game, Thursday Night Football, with a matchup of two teams who are just up and down to me, the Baltimore Ravens at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Ravens too.
I'm gonna go with the Ravens too. I just don't think the Bucs have it right now after that loss to PJ Walker last week.
Yep.
They get a short week, which is probably the worst.
Yeah.
It's not a good scenario.
The next game that I have on the list is the Arizona Cardinals at the Minnesota Vikings.
Give me the Vikings. They've played really well, and the Cardinals continue to struggle. I mean, they beat a bad Saints team, but still, Vikings.
I think this is where the Cardinals turn around. I'm gonna pick the Cardinals in this one.
I'll stick with the Vikings too, even after our bye week. I think they're going to be all rested up. Then we have at 4:25, which I don't know if this is considered the game of the week, but it's one of the only 4:25 matchups, is the Commanders at the Colts.
Cool.
Would have been a Carson Wentz revenge game, but
Yep.
he got hurt. Man, I'm going to go. Give me the Commanders and Taylor Heineke
Yeah,
to go
Heineke.
2-0 on the season.
I'm gonna go Heineke too.
Okay, I'm going to stick with the Colts. I think Ellinger has a decent game, but it's really more Jonathan Taylor to me.
Who's at home?
The Colts.
Okay.
Right.
I'll still
Yeah,
stick with
it's-
okay,
Yeah, I'll stay with the Colts. And then the last one we have is the 49ers at the Rams. Rams coming off a bye.
Two kind of struggling NFC West teams, but give me the Niners.
I'm gonna pick the Rams.
I'm going Rams too.
Okay.
I think. Actually, no. I'm gonna go 49ers because
CMC.
Christian McCaffrey's the real deal.
Okay.
Jeff Wilson is gonna get like a weird miscellaneous touchdown or something like that. Anyways, yeah, I think a lot of good matchups this week. This is kind of an exciting week. But that's gonna do it for episode 35 of Trojan Talk. I want to again thank Isaac and Cole for coming in on this Thursday morning, and we will see you all next week.